The earth is a menopausal thing that has been
Wait, go
treated so.
off.
The earth is a menopausal divine thing that has been treated so poorly.
Oh.
Treated so poorly. And people are like, I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. The earth is menopausal. The
Hot
earth is not
flashes,
young
sweats,
anymore. Hot flashes, hot flushes, not taking no shit,
Whew.
shape shifting, sitting you down and being like, if you can't get it together, I'm not messing with you no more.
Hello, beloved listeners. This is Adrienne Marie Brown, writer of stories and songs, emergent strategist and pleasure activist, living in the land of the Shakori, Skarure, Tuscarora, Ino, and Lumbee peoples. And this is How to Survive the End of the World, our podcast about learning from apocalypse with grace, rigor, and curiosity. When I say our, of course, I'm including my co-host, Autumn, who is currently on sabbatical. In her absence, and in honor of my book Fables and Spells, I'm going full witch this season and having conversations with some of my favorite witches and teachers. And I'll also read you little bits and pieces from the book as a way to weave all the things into the same space. Now, just a reminder, what I mean by witch is people who work with the elements of the natural world, including our human nature, to generate more possibilities. Witching is engaging the essential natural world with magic or supernatural intentions. Some names for what I include in this work are shamanism, sorcery, seeing, healing, herbalism, midwifery and doula labor, root work, conjuring, ritual, spell casting, astrology and divination, sound baths, altar building, song channeling. Building a direct relationship with the realm of the spirit, with the holy, with the ethereal. And my guest today is someone who I think is going to delight you and surprise you. Her name is Omisade Burney-Scott. She is a menopause doula for many of us. So she has, through her podcast, through her writing work, through her, do you call them zines?
Yes.
Yes, through her zines, she weaves together poetry, spell casting, and just hardcore experiential data to help us understand the changes that we go through when it's time for menopause. But that's just the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg of her witchy ways. And she happens to be my neighbor here and one of my favorite people. My plants love her to pieces. And hi, honey.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so excited you're here.
I'm very excited to be here. Hey, neighbor.
Hey neighbor. I love you. I wonder if first of all, is there anything in your, like, how you want people to know about you right now that you're like, also don't leave this out? I'm trying to give people room because I'm like, here's what I think of you. And here's like how I walk with you in the world. This is these are the altars I place you on. But are there other things that you're like, well, you don't really know about me unless you know that I'm over here cooking this biscuit? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good question, especially because a lot of people who kind of come to know us in the world today, they come to know us via our avatars.
Oh, yes.
And so when, people come to know me in my social media avatar, they're like, oh, Omi is the sister with the gray hair and the glasses and the aesthetic.
The look.
The look.
She's serving the looks, honey.
The look. But I'm someone's child. I'm someone's baby. I'm the daughter of people who are now ancestors who still parent me from the ancestral realm and reveal more parts of themselves from the ancestral realm, reveal more parts of their humanity, which then gives me a lot more information that helps me be more gentle with myself and my healing. Yeah. I'm somebody's mama.
Yes, you are.
And I have two spectacularly sweet, gentle, beautiful boys who were teaching me so much about myself. And that's really important to me. The work that we do in community, been doing this work for a little while. And so when I meet people, I try not to do the OG things like did we meet in the 80s or the 90s, or did we meet in the early 2000s, or did we meet
Right.
where did we meet?
Were you at
But
Freaknik?
I was.
All right.
And I was just texting with my bestie who was with me in the UK, and I was like, "Oh snap,
Oh
girl!
snap! They
Oh,
got footage.
they got footage."
They cleaned it up and stuff. We weren't expecting that.
But I will also let you know that I was engaged in a level of
Mm,
frivolity and festivities that I feel no shame about. So,
same.
so that's fine.
Good.
I'm,
I mean, I was like I was like in Atlanta knowing about Freaknik, but not allowed to go to Freaknik. Like I was in that age group. So I was like,
okay.
look.
Look
Yeah.
look at all the people.
Look what
right
they're doing in the car.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's important for me to kind of claim this long journey I've been on in doing social justice and liberation work,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's really important to me. It has shaped everything for me.
Yeah.
It shaped the way
Yeah.
I understand myself, shaped the way my relationships work, everything.
Good.
And then I guess because I don't present my avatar as somebody who offers spiritual support to the general public. Some people are like, oh yeah, and Omi's an initiated priest. But the folk who are my friends, who are my intimates, who are my family, blood and chosen, they're like, oh no, Omi's a priestess, and you know, I know that there are people in our community that know that I practice Ifa. I've been
Yeah.
practicing Ifa Yoruba, which is the spiritual cultural practices of the Yoruba people, and also in Benin. And I've been practicing that since 1997. But I've been an initiated priest for 10 years. And so that absolutely influences my understanding of my relationship with the natural world, and um,
Yeah.
the witchy parts of so deliciously of how we connect and are in these trans species relationships, and what we learn, but also what we offer, because
Mm.
we don't want to engage in extraction, which I find a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people
Mm-hmm.
talking about, or sometimes when they're talking about manifesting, or when they're talking about working with particular energies or entities, I don't also hear them talking about spiritual reciprocity or deference or respect, and that feels troubling to me. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit together.
Yeah, I mean, you just laid out a smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord. So we're going to get into all of it.
Yeah.
Before we dive in, I like to just slow down and ask people how you're doing right now today.
Mm. So today, my body is about 5 hours ahead of me back
Mm.
in London, and
Yeah,
so
in London town.
in London, in it, mate. So
All right,
I feel
mate.
in it. So
Good chat.
I feel like I'm, babes. I feel like I'm missing my babes. I'm missing my loves. I'm missing my mates. And so it feels like it's about 6 o'clock, but it's not. So
Yeah.
while I feel very physically present to wanting to lay down,
Yep.
my heart and my mind is racing with excitement and anticipation,
Mm.
around what will manifest as a result of these new relationships that we have been calling to us, and the work that we're doing,
Mm.
for the global majority.
Good.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
I feel soft. I feel quiet. Um, I've been drinking a lot of tea and coconut
Mm.
water because I feel a little dehydrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I will be 56 on next Tuesday. So,
Hello.
so
That's so
it
exciting.
is very exciting. And so I feel very 56 today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, what's 56 feeling? Um, I feel like people don't really know,
Mm,
or
mhm,
what the options are.
mm,
I'll say that I am feeling it kind of clicked into my system over the past week that I've been doing too much.
Hmm.
And too much creeps up on me. Like I'll be like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm great. Yes. I got it. Oh, wait. Now hold up. I missed that. Something fell to the floor. Like that. It starts to feel like I can't hold it all in my hands,
Mm-hmm.
my life. And yeah, I got that feeling in a really big way this past week. I've been like going on trips and being with family and friends. And in my mind, my magical thinking says I can go on trips, be with family and friends, and also work on these 3 books at the same time, finish this tarot deck project, finish this musical ritual thing, and it's all fine.
Mm.
It occurred to me last week that any one of those projects is a full-time project, none of which can be done while with family and friends.
Yeah, it's
Child.
you're like,
I was like, wait, something's wrong. Something's going on, and I can't catch my breath, right? So for me, whenever I have those moments of aha and realizing that, it's a good thing, right? Because I'm like, oh, I've been out here flying loose with my time and my energy, and wondering why I feel overdrawn. And I can always tell because people who love me are like, hey, do you have a minute to catch up? And I'm like, I don't. Like every minute I have, I need any minutes that I'm not officially working, I need to try to reclaim to put back into my own bank account. So that's where I'm at right now is I'm just really noticing the too muchness. And I'm excited that this podcast, this season is all about the witching because I feel like so much of that is like, okay, once you recognize what is, you can work with what is and you can shift. What I always find is I can shift energy actually pretty quickly once I pull the right thread.
yes.
And first I was like, oh, I've got some wild thing is happening. I was like, no, nothing that wild is happening. You just have too much on the plate.
Yes.
And what can go off, I wrote to different people in my life. I was like, this is going to take this long. Actually, this is going to take months more.
Yeah.
This is going to take this long and everyone will be fine. Everyone's going to be okay. None of it's emergency room work.
That's
hallelujah.
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 This is interesting that you're saying that. It made me think of 2 things. One, this kind of urgency that has us think that we're in the emergency room. And then you have to like do like a space check and be like, where am I right now?
Am I in an emergency
room? I'm not in the emergency room. I'm not guiding somebody. I'm not a air traffic controller, or I don't work at NASA, and I'm not trying to get people back through to the world.
There's so many important jobs that I do not do.
Listen,
and what's really been enlightening to me, because I keep being like, oh snap, it's not like I have writer's block, but I'm like, I'm not writing it the way that I usually write. What's coming instead are these little sacred poems and spells and little bits and pieces. And I'm just like, well, that's what I'm writing right now. That's what it is. And that's okay.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is. So, all right, we'll check in some more. I might need you to come over and EFOM a situation, but as one does. So, my love, so you started to walk us down this path. One of the first questions I have for people is, I know that I say witch, but how do you identify the work that you do? And it's so funny that, you talk about being an initiated priestess, because a few years ago, I went to our friend, Sister Dr. Alexis Pauline Gums, and I was like, I am a witch or a priestess, and I don't know which one I am. I was like, can you tell me? Right? And she was like, well, given your mixed lineage, you might actually be a little bit of both. And that would make sense, and that might make sense for what you're feeling. And so I've been like really sitting with that, and you strike me that way too, that there's like the official priestesshood that has been granted to you, and then there's also this other path, which feels like it's maybe predates that. So I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
How do you identify the work that you do? And when did you realize you were drawn to it?
Yeah, I think this is a really good question. And I also remember something, I don't know if you said that or just something that our friendship circle says is that the binary is a lie.
Yes.
And
Yep.
and
You know.
so the binary of this and that, this or that
Yes.
is not, I don't think
It's
that's the
not the
question.
way.
I don't think that's the question. I think the question is, what are we all born with that
Yeah.
connects us to spirit? What are we all born
Yes.
with that connects us to the natural world? I think we call things supernatural because there's so much
Yeah.
available to us in the natural world that we only kind of scratch the surface, and then we actually keep scratching and keep scratching and keep scratching, and you poke your finger through, you're like, oh snap, my finger went through. And then when you like stretch out what that circle where your finger went through and you can actually see through that, you're like, what am I looking
What?
at right now? Like
Yes.
it bugs you out. And so you're like, well, this has to be supernatural because, I've never seen it before. I never felt it before. I don't know what to call it,
Mm,
but it's not. It's just another part of the natural world that we have not accessed. And sometimes we start to access parts of the natural world that have been separated from us culturally,
yeah.
or from human beings for quite some time, and you don't have a guide to
Yep.
say to you, that scratching that you just did that opened up a space for you. What you're looking at is X, Y, and Z because
Mm,
of so much that has happened to us related to the transatlantic slave trade and colonialism and imperialism and patriarchy and all these things. And so the way that we could touch those
mm,
places in a
mm.
much more consistent way in our families and in our daily walk and our daily work kept getting stretched further and further and further apart. And so here
Yes.
we are in this generation of folk scratching the surface of these things that have already been here, have
Yeah.
always existed. And we don't have that great grandparent, we don't have that elder, we don't have that shaman, we don't have that elder priest to say, "Oh, yes, they called for you to find that and you found it and this is what it is."
Mm,
And
mm,
so we have to make sense of it the best way we can, right?
mm.
And so I do think that there's always been a part of me since I was a little kid. I'm a Southern born person whose family goes back multiple generations in North Carolina. There's always
Mhm.
been something really mystical, magical, and witchy about the South for me.
Oh, yes.
Always,
It's
always,
full, full,
just
full.
full, 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 full. And I do remember being a little kid and um, there were stories about my grandmother and how she would clean the house. And my grandmother would clean the house with turpentine. And she would also put camphor down in the four corners. And she would also put sulfur at the front door. And I was thinking, that's a whole lot.
That's a lot.
Why is she doing that? And the joke was because, Mama was into that thing. Mama believed in spirits. Mama also loved white Jesus. So my grandmother loved white Jesus.
Our grandmothers were like, look, he looked like what he looked like. I just love him. I don't know.
I don't know. I
I
love
feel the miracles. I don't know.
I don't know. I believe it. I go to church. I'm a part of
Mm-hmm.
every auxiliary that there is at the church. And
Yep.
I will also go to the root woman down in the county if there's something
Exactly.
that I need taken care of. And there is a picture of my great grandmother. So my grandmother's name was Anna.
Was
Um,
she in New Bern?
Yep, everybody's in New Bern. So
Okay,
literally seven
beautiful.
seven generations back, we've been able to trace back to like the early 1800s.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And my grandmother, my father's mother, was born 1898. So I had older parents. And so my great grandmother, her Mom
Yeah.
Lou, there's a picture that I have of her, and she's got a gree bag um,
Mm.
on, and it's just kind of hanging there. And
Okay.
and so
I
let me
can
back
feel
up.
my listeners like,
Yeah,
what
what's
is
a
a
gree
Greek bag?
bag?
Mm-hmm.
So the bag that my great grandmother had on appeared to me to be similar to what people often wear as a bag of protection or
Yeah.
a bag of healing. So there'll be healing herbs in there. There might be bits of bone. There might be um, tobacco. Somebody's done a prayer over that. So I don't know why she had it
Yep.
on. I don't know what. was the circumstance of why that would be something that she would be wearing. But I
Like,
know, yes, it looked just like that. And it was on a
yep,
string. It was on a
yep.
string and it's hanging on her shirt. And she's looking at the camera like, what?
I
There's
feel
no,
like the universe just guided you to share
yeah,
this with me right now because I'm
yeah,
like, that's what I need something.
yeah.
And I got this back, my Gree bag, but I haven't put anything in it for a long
So
time.
yes, and I
There we
used to
go.
wear a gree bag a lot more consistently back in the day before I received my Alekes.
Yeah.
But there are all these things, there are all these resources and tools we have access to. So as a kid growing up, there were stories we heard. We used to play in the woods. And we
Mm-hmm.
always believed that there were fairies in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we always wanted to find places in the woods where there was moss because moss felt magical.
Oh, yes.
Moss and mushrooms felt magical, and we were like, I bet that they're watching us. As kids,
Yeah.
there was no fear. And then as I got older, I started becoming more compelled by religious expression or spiritual practices that were more in alignment with who I am culturally as a Black person.
Great.
So
Yeah.
that meant that as I was also growing in my political analysis of the world, I was also growing in how does my spiritual practice align with who I am politically,
Yep.
which helped me make a decision around still appreciating being brought up in a Black Southern church tradition. I love Black Southern church.
Yep.
It's so much fun. I enjoy the rituals. I enjoy the aesthetic. I love Black funerals.
Mm.
Um, I love Vacation Bible School. I didn't love it as a kid, but like
Yeah.
I love it now. Just like there's certain smells that make me time travel to Vacation Bible School, and I know that
Ah.
that is who I am culturally as a Black person. So I'm very much drawn to that. But I also knew that I needed to make a decision, or I wanted to make a decision to find a spiritual practice for myself and my children that was more in alignment with who I am culturally. And because
I
I,
love
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say I want to put a pin on this or a spotlight on this because what you just described between your grandmother's love of white Jesus and your own agency to say I actually want to find something that aligns more with my own Black tradition, to me that is in some ways the essential one of the essential ways we can measure the freedoms that we have that
Yeah.
our ancestors carved out for us. So it was like, what can I worship? Because I know I've got to be in relationship to spirit. And
Mm,
actually, I'm not being given a ton of choices. I've been
hmm
given Jesus. And
hmm
so I know that there's something larger than me out there. And I'm going to
hmm
mostly focus on what I've been given and what is culturally acceptable.
Absolutely.
Right. And
Absolutely.
then to be like, okay, and now here you come 2 generations later.
Yeah.
And you're like, I see everything that you're working on. I can see it. I can honor it. I can even, my memories of it can be fond. And I have an agency to cast my net wider and be more precise in terms of what I want to
hmm
hone as my practice.
Yes. And I'm not the only person in my family who's done that. I have 16 first cousins that are
Okay,
identify as women.
family.
We have a big family.
Hmm.
16 first cousins who identify as women. My eldest sister, Marianne, is the oldest grandchild of my
Okay.
grandmother. And my younger sister, Georgette, is the baby. So my eldest sister is 75 and my younger sister is 55.
So it's all in your siblingship. You
hmm
span the whole
hmm
thing. Wow.
Yeah, we span the whole thing. But my cousin Trish, my uncle, he had 5 girls,
Okay.
and my cousin Trish practices Asara Set, which is a Kemetic Black spiritual tradition that comes out of ancient Kemet, or what we know to be as Egypt. And when she got married, I remember being, I guess I was like 9 or 10,
Yeah.
and the brother that she married was a Jamaican, and he was also Rastafarian. It was like the most cultural, amazing wedding I had ever been to. The food
Mm.
was so delicious, and also just it was so Black. It was in the 70s, so like the aesthetic was like
Ooh.
hella Black. I was just like everybody's looking great and smelling like oils and musk and
Mm.
silver
Mm. Mm.
bangles and
Mm.
locks, and it was great. So
Serve.
I
Yeah.
when I first started practicing, my cousins didn't blink an eye. They were like, "Oh, well,
Yeah. Of course.
We knew this might happen again. And I also feel like I was accepted in a way that I probably didn't expect
Mm,
by my family
that's
first.
good.
Some of my friends were kind of like, "What do you mean you don't practice Christianity anymore? And
Hmm.
do you still believe in a higher power? Do you still believe in God? Is God there?" That was the major concern.
Uh-huh.
Is God there? And that was a question my mother asked me before she passed away. She was like, "Does God exist in this tradition?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, if you like it, then I love it."
I love Black folks. I love how
Uh,
we put things where we need to put them. Okay,
it
fine.
was just like that. Boom, jiggity
That's
boom.
yours. Beloved listeners, many of you already support this podcast of ours. And so this message is first and foremost gratitude to you all. Thank you so much. We really couldn't do this without y'all. And it's an invitation to those of you who listen on the regular and might not have become a patron yet, that this really is a community effort at this point. We don't get funding for this from anywhere else. We don't have grants or anything else supporting us. And we don't do advertisements, which has been a political choice that I think is the right one for us. And I think it allows us to be more present with you all without having to, bend and weave and figure out like which products are the most apocalyptic. Anyway, so the question that I'm here to ask you is, would you mind slipping over to patreon.com/End of the World Show and putting $1 on it? You get access to our Ask Us Anything exclusive content. We're already brainstorming and planning on other exclusive content to offer through that space. And you get merch, really cute things that we send you because we made them just for you. So go on over, see what you can do. We really, really appreciate it. We're full of gratitude for you. And yeah, let's get back to our show.
I do think that I innately was attracted to certain things, and then I found a path
Yeah.
that is millennia old,
Yeah.
multiple millennia old. That is a oral tradition, that is a hands-on tradition that would teach me,
Mm.
when I am engaging with the natural world. It gives me names for things. It gives
Yeah.
me names for the um, divine manifestations of the river, which is Oshun, right? And that's
Yeah.
the Orisha I'm initiated to. It gives
Yep.
me the name for the mountain, which is Obatala, and Obatala is also my Orisha parent. So like it was giving me more language to make sense of the relationships that I already had,
Mm-hmm.
and it was also giving me tools to use to engage with those relationships in a different, more thoughtful, intentional way. So
So
I want to do a disclaimer real quick.
yeah, I was like,
I want
disclaim.
to do a disclaimer. The natural world is accessible to anybody.
Yes.
Anybody.
Yes.
You do not
You're in
have
a
to be.
body.
If you are in a body, if you
You're
are
in the natural
alive,
world.
if you
That's what
are
I always say. I'm like, you're in it. You breathe
if
it.
you are animated carbon, you are a part of the natural world, and
Mm-hmm.
it is okay for you to organically develop this relationship with the natural world.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I always suggest to people, without saying that you need to be follow a particular path or a particular spiritual path, is to be mindful
Mm.
and kind and respectful of the natural world.
Yes. I
And
love
then
that.
that's it. Be clear about what you know and what you don't know.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
So the thing that occurred to me, I wasn't planning to ask, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, is so much of this work, of witchy work,
Mm,
for me has been learning to reclaim some of the faith that I had outside of myself
mm,
and put it back into myself, put it
mm-hmm.
into myself and what I could feel and sense and share with others around me. And instead of having faith in like, here's the story someone told me about how the world was, and
Mm-hmm.
here's how power flows, and here's this person is in charge of miracles, you're not, and
Right.
so on and so forth, right?
Right.
So but for me, a lot of my shifting my relationship to that kind of faith that I was given as a child, it was, it coincided with developing my critical thinking skills,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so becoming witchy in the ways that I have become witchy in my life, in some ways has felt like finding a balance between my critical thinking, revolutionary, analytical self and
Mm-hmm.
my faith self. And I want to ask you
Mm-hmm.
that too, because I feel like you're someone else who really walks that line of
Mm-hmm.
I'm in movement, I'm paying attention to the political shifts and changes. Like as you were talking, I'm like, oh yeah, I imagine on that journey that you were also coming into your revolutionary analysis, your ways of thinking
Mm-hmm.
about the world, right?
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
and then I feel like I've seen a resurgence of people then turning into priesthood, turning onto the path of Ifa, turning onto these paths. And I get really curious about the cycle of that, of being like, there's a letting go of one faith, landing
Mm-hmm.
back in the self, developing my critical thinking, and then finding a faith that actually met that critical thinking.
Mm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a really potent conversation, Adrian.
Mm.
Because wherever you go, there you are. So whatever, however you were showing up in your humanity and whatever curiosity, critique,
Mm.
learning that you were willing to do before you decided to switch a path, right? So like, I think about
Yep.
pathways all the time. You and I talk about what my our beautiful friend who also is in relationship with the good sister doctor Alexis Pauline Gumbs, Michelle Lanier, talks about the art of cartography and how
Hmm.
black folk we are cartographers.
Yeah.
And when you are map making, you tend to walk a trail or a path that's as a beaten path. All this language that we use is based on like very practical things. When someone says,
Yep.
it's the beaten path, don't go off the beat, because people have
It's
been
like
walking it.
someone has been walking that.
Somebody's been walking it. Somebody's been walking it. So if I've
We
been
can get
walking a
there this way.
Right. So if I've been walking a path with my witchiness, my relationship with the natural world, with my ancestors, and
Yeah.
this path is known to me, I feel good about this path. Have I also, while I've been walking this path, doing that integration and thinking
Hmm.
about my own healing, thinking about my trauma shape, thinking about my political understanding, and not seeing them as separate and apart, but fully integrated.
Yep.
And then when I spy, like, because your peripheral vision is an amazing thing.
Yes.
You might not see something until it's time for you to see it.
Right.
And then when you spy, there's actually another path, either as a path that's overgrown and hasn't been tended to,
Hmm.
or it's a whole new way to go and you're going to have to bushwhack it
Yeah.
yourself.
To your machete.
Right. Are you also in the midst of this new path, continuing to do this work on yourself? Because what I find sometimes is whether you are agnostic, an atheist, a witch, a priest, a shaman, a believer, or whatever the case may be, you're a human being at your
Yeah.
core. And
Yes.
however your humanity has been shaped by who you are in your journey will show up in that tradition. And so I don't
Yes.
want to show up with my tradition as a mask.
Yes.
I don't want to show up with my tradition as an excuse or a hall pass. So that way I can show up and be doing dastardly shit
Mm.
because I got a hall pass because I'm a priest. So you got to listen to what I say.
Period. 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 Period.
I'm not
Yeah,
doing
I
that.
really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate that
Mm,
also because I feel like the more I lean into that, the more I understand like there's no limit to how I can experience the spirit of the world.
mm-hmm.
So, I've been moving down my own witchy path, but it was Easter this past weekend, and on Easter, a very clear poem came through for about Jesus, and it
Mm-hmm.
was just like, you know who Jesus is, like you know about Jesus, and you know about all these, about
Mm-hmm.
all of these spirits. They're all part of our collective lineage,
Yes.
right? And so you've spoken to us both about informal and some of the formal lineage that you belong to. Is there anything else you want to say
Mm.
about the formal lineage of
Yes.
your craft?
I do think that the formal lineage was super compelling to me because it felt like something that I had been robbed of.
Uh-huh.
Um, I have not done the DNA. I've not done the swab in my cheek to find out where our family originates from
Uh-huh.
in Africa. Um, but I do believe that, indigeneity,
Yes.
which I want to be very, very clear what I'm saying here, because I don't want it to be misinterpreted that I'm doing any kind of erasure of our First Nation or
Yes.
Native
Yes.
friends, nibblings, or siblings. I am
Yes.
not. But I know that indigeneity is a global truism, and that the indigeneity that my ancestors lived with for multiple years, hundreds of years, thousands of years before we were separated from
Yeah.
the continent, included spiritual practice, included cultural practices that I have no idea. I
Yeah.
have no idea. And so Ifa is my adopted spiritual practice. I'm compelled by it because it comes from an area of a huge continent that my ancestors likely originated from,
Yeah.
and that there are some core pieces of this tradition that also connects me to my ancestors, such as ancestor veneration.
Yeah.
And because I am such a curious person as well, like I like to learn hands on, I like to watch, I
Mm-hmm.
like to ask questions, I like to be turned on to new language. Um, I like to be turned on to new tools.
Yes.
That this was a tradition that is so hands on and so much about you are always learning. Like being initiated in the tradition was actually giving me permission to learn because there were
Mm-hmm.
things that were behind the veil that I would never know how to do or never know how to address or access because I wasn't an initiate. So being initiated then gave me permission to step into the room, to step into the room and to learn more deeply, to step into
Yeah.
the, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I think that that was very compelling for me. And when I think about how I show up in my priestly walk, I think I show up in my priestly walk every day. Like I think
Yeah.
that when people interact with me and if I would hope, when they say, how would you describe Omi? That the way that they describe me is like a kind of a emotional, physical, spiritual manifestation of my priestly like mission, like
Mm.
how I want to move in the world. And that's around how do we move in the world where we're at home in our bodies? How are we move in the world where we have body sovereignty? How do we move in the world where we are in right relationship with each other? How do we move in the world understanding that pleasure is divine and sacred? How do we move in the world healing each other? How do we move in the
Mm.
world taking care of this planet that is menopausal? The earth is a menopausal thing that has been
Wait, go
treated so
off.
the earth is a menopausal divine thing that has been
Oh,
treated so poorly. And people are like, I don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. The earth is menopausal. The
hot
earth is
flashes,
not young
sweats,
anymore. Hot flashes,
breakfast.
hot flushes, not taking no shit,
Whew.
shape shifting, sitting you down and being like, if you can't get it together, I'm not messing with you no more.
Yes, right.
And that feels very menopausal to me.
I love this. So tell us day to day, week to week,
Mm.
what are all the ways you do your witchy work?
Mm. Ooh. Well, I spend a lot of time at the river.
The Eno.
The Eno. And you gave me a gift or a reminder that the river is inside of me and inside my home as
Mm-hmm.
well. So when I can't physically get to the river, I find the river here in
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so every day, I am trying to lean into my practice of gratitude. Like if I wake up, I'm grateful. If I wake up and I can get up, I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
If I wake up and I can get up and go in the bathroom and brush my teeth and I look in the mirror and I see myself, I'm grateful.
Mm.
I can get in the car and take my son to school because there's gas in the car. I'm grateful. Just like being like part of my witchiness is like being in a place of gratitude to the universe, being like, yo, you did me a solid again. Thank you.
Again.
You're dope. I appreciate you. Thanks for looking out for me and my babies and the fathers of my babies and my siblings and my nibblings and all of the people who are around me. Thank you so much. So that's part of one of the ways that I witch is I feel like I think that my witchy practice is grounded a lot in protection and safety. Like, I think that I'm always compelled to keep my people safe, my friends safe, my family
Yes.
safe, my children safe. Like, I think that's, some people's witchy practices around um, conjure and healing around abundance or around
Mm-hmm.
creativity. I think my witchy practice is around protection and safety. How do I keep you safe? How do I keep you protected? And what are the things that we need to do to keep you safe and to keep you protected so you can fully realize whatever it is that you want to do with your witchy walk.
Well,
But
that
I
really
feel,
reverberates off of
yeah,
you. Like I
yeah.
feel like from the moment I met you, I
Mm.
was like, that's someone who will be able to protect me. And I feel like without knowing what I was asking for, even when I moved down here, without exactly knowing what I was asking for, I was like, can you just
Sure.
come put the
Yeah.
protection on my house,
Sure.
Like, and you're just like, yeah, I do know exactly what to do for that,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I love
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Gratitude,
I think that's
protection.
also like a way that I show up as a doula. I think my doula shape or
Mm.
my doula witchy power is I slow the room down. So
Uh-huh.
when you're in the midst of a person arriving from the other side, a lot of stuff is going on. It's very, very busy. It's very
Yes.
kinetic.
Yes.
People feel so rushed. Hurry up, do this, do this, do
Yeah.
this. And I like to slow the room down and be like, can we just take a moment?
Just a moment.
Is this person in peril? Like, is this a life
Hmm.
ending life? No, it's not. Okay, let's give a second. Do you
Yeah.
understand what was just being said? You need a moment. Can we
Yeah.
get a moment? Because there's always more time than we actually think that we have.
That's right.
And I like to call people by their name. I'm like, what's your name again? Okay, hey, Joyce. Joyce, can we just slow down for a second? And Joyce is
Hmm.
looking at me like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Come back in 5 minutes, Joyce, and we'll have an answer for you around epidural. We'll have an answer for you around da 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 da.
Yep.
Give us a second, Joyce.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're fine.
Yes.
You're safe too, Joyce.
It's like the way you interact with people, in some ways, what you're conjuring is conjuring the person to the present moment,
Yes, be here
right?
with
Like it's
me.
like wherever you've gone to right now, I can feel that you're not here and
Come
come right
back,
here.
come back, come back, come back and be
Hmm.
here with me. Look at
Yeah.
me. Can you see me? It's one of the things I say
Hmm.
when we're doing spiritual work and someone is being invited to leave their body. I'm like,
Hmm.
look at me. Can you see me? Are you with
Hmm.
me? Look at
Mm.
me. Keep your eyes open.
Good.
I can see you. So I think I do have a calming kind of energy. I'm a very passionate, fiery person.
Yes, you are.
I have a lot of narratives that run through my mind. I'm very creative. I create hella stories. Some of them are not true. Some of them are for public consumption.
Look, that's
So
the way we do this
this is the
life.
way we do this life. But I do think that part of how that also helps me is remember that there might be a narrative that's playing itself out in this person's mind right now where we're in the midst of doing something really important. How can I invite them to
Mm.
be present to, is this narrative true? And what do you need right now? How can we make that happen? Sometimes it's just as simple as let me breathe with you right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you breathing. You can hear me breathing. You are here.
here
Okay, let's
you
keep going.
are.
Let's keep going. And
And
so, yeah.
yeah, I was like, do you feel, because I feel like I also see that I see your witchy work in how you claim your body and bring it into the light for
Mm,
others.
mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm,
you make us contend with you.
mm, mm-hmm,
Every day you're like, you're gonna look at me, a
mm-hmm.
fine ass 56-year-old woman, and you're gonna change how you think about everything related to age and menopause and all of that. So I think
Mm.
I see witchiness there. And then I feel like you're a very witchy mom.
I am a super witchy mom.
Can you speak to those two things?
Yeah, the body piece is interesting because I don't feel like I think that the contending with me or bearing witness to me is I differentiate. I think that
Uh-huh.
as a younger person, I wanted people to contend with me, deal with it,
Yeah, deal with me. Yeah.
and that part of that deal with me was a part of my unhealed parts of myself of feeling like I was not worthy of being loved or
Mm.
protected or safe or chosen. And
Hmm.
so I would show up in very bold, bright ways, like deal with it,
Yeah,
right? Oh, you don't want to see me? I'm gonna make it impossible for
to ignore
you
me.
to ignore me
Mm.
with everything, my aesthetic, my hair, my energy, like when I had walked with a lot of fire. I have
Mm-hmm.
a Virgo rising, an Aries sun,
Yay. Yeah.
and a Leo moon, which
Yeah.
means that I can move furniture with my mind. When I'm happy, the furniture is dancing, folk are dancing. It's jovial, it's lovely. When I'm not pleased, shit is shaking,
Yeah. Period.
even though I'm not saying anything with my mouth,
Yeah.
right? So that felt much more of the contention. You're going to contend with me. I think
Yes.
that what has happened for me over the past 8 years, maybe even going back to initiation, is that I want you to bear witness to me
Mm.
because we all want to be witnessed
Mm-hmm.
in our authenticity, not in our avatars, but in
Well,
our authenticity.
I feel that. I also feel like, in some way, synonymous, like being a woman who will be contended with
Mm,
and being a witch have felt very synonymous to me.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I feel like now I'm starting to untangle that a bit so that I'm like, oh,
Mm,
gender is not actually a function of witchiness in any
it's
way.
not.
And so letting that come forward, that I'm like, it's not actually about being a woman, although there's something about the way we slip out of the chains of construct and the
Yeah,
chains of oppression and the chains of oppression. Yeah, the chains. Like, I'm just
absolutely.
sort of like, there's a way that's like, if there's someone who's trying to deny who you are in order to become more fully yourself, you might have to witch,
Absolutely.
right?
I was going to say absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I do believe that when I think that my humanity is being ignored,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I turn it up.
Yeah.
It's like there's a running joke on my small group of friends about my ram horns. Like that, how they have become much more coiffed over the years, and
Mm.
they're just like people are like, oh me, oh yeah, I can see the brightness, but
Yes.
when I unfurl these ram horns, it
Yes.
is most times now at this stage in my life, 80% of the time on purpose.
Yeah.
And I will do it slowly so you see it. Like as you're talking to
Yes.
me and you're saying some slick shit, it'll
Yeah.
be a slow unfurling. And they're like, is her ram horn coming out?
It
And I
looks
would,
like a little ram horn.
it looks like a big ram horn. It looks like a
Yeah.
50-plus-year-old ram horn that has scars and scratches and dents
Oh, I
and
love it.
missing pieces, and also is shiny from me kind of like taking care of it. So there's some shiny places. But if I
Yeah.
unfurl it, I unfurl it on purpose.
You
Whether
making me think about this other aspect. Sometimes when I'm sitting with a room full of powerful people,
mm-hmm.
there's a part of me, it's almost like a little glitch or another sight will happen where I
Mm,
can see their mystical being selves
yes,
and I can see my mystical being self. Mine
yes,
is this like lush barnacled mermaid creature,
yes,
and she's just like, people don't know why they're attracted to her. She's just, her power is like oceanic, right?
yes.
And your ram horns make so much sense to me in
Oh
that
yeah,
context. They're
oh
just like,
yeah,
you're dealing with this massive
yeah.
powerhouse who I will knock it all down for the sake of the collective, you
I will
know.
knock it all down for the sake of the collective. And there was something you said earlier that I think that I want to return to, that I think
Mm-hmm.
my witching is also about shape shifting.
Oh,
I
mm-hmm.
think I am definitely a shapeshifter. And I have been very intentional about my shape shifting,
About how you move that. Yeah.
how I move that, and what that
Mm.
means for my identity and my relationships. I do believe too, and because as we were talking about rest and
Yes.
too muchness, that I moved in the world with a particular shape where I could absorb a lot of energy and give a lot of energy. And I used to be able to do it. Boom, let's go.
Yes.
Let's make it happen. No problem. Yes, I can do multiple things at one time. This is fine. It's not a problem. And then I got to a certain point where I think that I exerted too much energy,
Yeah.
and I somehow breached the energy that I came to the world with, and I started tarrying in a world or in the ancestral realm, and they were like, we'll hold you here because we know that you've got work to do, but if you hang out with us too long, we'll just bring you on home.
Mm.
So you've got to be clear that the way that you've been moving energy has changed,
Yes.
and you cannot move energy the same way anymore. And if you keep trying to return back to that energy, it's harmful. It's
So,
harmful.
Omi, this is
Yes.
like, I mean, I feel a little emotional right now because this is why I'm doing this podcast right now. Because I'm just like, I think that so many people who are doing apocalyptic work, whatever that looks like, just turning and trying to look directly at what is and what's coming,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're having this experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm like, I knew how to balance my energy as a facilitator. I had figured that out.
Mm-hmm.
I even have some sense of it as a writer, but the changes that are happening in the external world and how much of that I can feel.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's sometimes I'm like, I'm just, maybe if I get off of social media altogether, that'll be
Mm.
the thing, because I'm just like energetically,
Right.
I don't know that I can handle even, right now I have a pretty controlled way that I'm interacting with a lot of the world.
Yeah.
And what the universe keeps telling me is relinquish control.
Mm.
Stop trying the way you've been trying to hold boundaries or the way you've been trying to hold it, relinquish that. And like some things you can't dose it,
Yeah.
right? You can't dose poison. You can't dose things that are actually harmful to you.
Right.
There's not a healthy dose of it, right?
No, and we could take a huge lesson from Madame Curie, right? Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Madam, I don't know if, people know Madame Curie's name and we know her from history, but if you actually learn her story,
Yeah.
she was brilliant, and she
Oof.
was ingesting poison,
Yes.
and that ultimately killed her.
Yes.
But she wanted to learn. She wanted to know what would happen. So she sacrificed her body.
Yes. She's
But
like,
she was
someone has to figure it out.
Someone has to figure it out. She was ingesting poison. It makes
Mm.
me think about the brilliance of Mama Octavia Butler,
Mm-hmm.
who gave us Onion Wu,
Mm.
talked about ingesting poison in her mouth so she could disaggregate it to pull the medicine from it to heal her people. But she also knew that she couldn't keep ingesting certain poisons because it would do what? It would take her out.
Yeah.
Because even though she was
Yeah.
old, she was not immortal.
Exactly. And I think of that as like, I feel like so many of us, it's like, I feel very connected. I feel powerful. I feel on the right path, but I feel not immortal. And
Mm-hmm.
so I keep feeling like, oh, I just keep thinking about this. One of the questions I have on here is, what are the witchy skills you wish everyone had for this apocalyptic time?
Mm-hmm.
But since you keep preempting the conversation I want to have and like getting there and being already in it, right? Because that's how you always are. Every time we talk, you're like, by the way, the thing you're about to say 3 points from now, I'm already there. And so I'm just thinking about this, that there's something around coming in contact with that maybe it brings us back to the first thing you were saying earlier about reciprocity, spiritual reciprocity, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I feel like there's a way that I'm giving and not restoring, right, in myself. And it reminds me of how a lot of times people come to spirit, right? It's just like prayer, 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 gimme, 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 need.
Yes.
And I can do that to myself,
Yeah.
And instead of, oh, what does it look like to, I don't know, just constantly be putting down offerings at the root system.
Yes.
At
the root system. And I think being able to put it down in the root system, if we are going to travel to the root, whatever travel you're doing, you and I've both been traveling, that requires...
Too much, baby, now it's too much. Yes.
It requires rest.
Yeah, it does.
It does. There's a different way that your body, on a molecular level, experiences being in different time zones in different parts of the world. And if you ignore that, like, whatever, I could just keep moving it, your body's like so brilliant. Your body's like, no.
Oh, yeah?
Lay down. And then you wake up and it's 12 hours later. Why? Because your body knows, right? So if we're going to go to the root, if we're going to be able to source from the root,
yes,
we have to be prepared for the journey. And we also have to do it in a way that's not extractive. So much of what sourcing looks like in this world, in our generation, is deeply, debilitatingly extractive.
Yeah.
Whether it's sourcing from our Mother Earth,
Yeah.
whether it's sourcing from other people who we say we want to be in relationship with, but we don't know how to do that in a reciprocal way, but we are getting what we need. And there's almost an unconsciousness. And if there is a consciousness, it's like, well, how will I ever get what I need from someone else when they give it to me so freely?
Yeah.
So if we're going to source, it has to be done with reciprocity, an intentional spiritual reciprocity. I'm not going to go out in your backyard or my backyard and snatch up something out the ground without making an offering.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make, and that offering's not just like, thanks for the grass.
Right.
It's like, I'm grateful for this grass growing. I ask that this grass is replaced and is replenished,
Yes.
and that I don't do any harm in taking this grass. And I ask, can I take this grass?
Do I
And
have
sometimes
permission?
it takes time. Sometimes they're like, don't take that. Nope.
Yeah.
You could have nope. Yeah,
Yes.
nope. And then I listen. Can I use this bush? Can I use this stick? And they're like, you can. And then I leave my offering and I'm like, and thank you for this. Thank you for this
Hmm.
offering and may it be replenished.
Yes.
And we are not replenishing each other or our planet in a way that I think we can. I think it's completely possible. Um,
Yeah.
and I know that the moments where I see it happening is where all of the magic and the medicine of the witchiness is just like amplified. And you're just like, oh my God, look at that. And so, what am I looking at? So, you're looking at somebody who is resplendent with
Yes.
being replenished
That's
for
right.
what they're offering. And
Goals.
so, see, baby,
That's the goal. That's the
that's the
witchy
goal.
goal,
That's the
you
witchy
know?
goal is to be able to move in the world with a resplendent light
Mm,
that has been replenished by what you offer.
I love
It's
this.
cyclical. It's cyclical.
So, the final question I had on here was, what is the advice on that you would give people who are called to do witch work or asked to do witch work while they're also doing their own healing work?
Mm,
Right.
yeah.
And this question for me is rooted in, like, I know I can still offer people a lot even when I'm caught up in my own processes. I know that I've had the experience many times of people being like, oh, that was exactly what I needed, blah, blah, blah. Great.
Sure.
And then there's times when I'm like, the water's not coming through clean. When you're like rinsing out the beans, right? And it's just like, it's not clean yet. We need to just put some more rinse on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you need clean water for this ritual, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I wondered if you had thoughts on that, like,
Mm.
or how do you
Yeah.
assess it for
It's
yourself?
interesting because water came up for me too in two ways. Can I
Hmm.
tell you a very quick story as we're wrapping up?
Yes, my love.
So, my youngest child,
The
Taj.
perfect one, the king.
I have the
Yes.
king and the warrior. Yes. So
Yes.
Che is the warrior and Taj is the king. And
Yep.
I'm grateful for both of them. Taj came to me a few months ago because he's become that person in his friendship group. He's the person who can hold a
Of
lot.
course he has a
Yeah, he
baby.
can hold a lot. And so um, he asked me, he said, what do you think it means to be like a friend therapist? And I said, I don't know. I'm not familiar with this language. Like,
What is it?
is this some tickety talk language? Like, well, help me break it down. He's like, no, 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 no. What I mean is like, I feel like I've become a therapist for my friends. I said, but
Yeah.
you're not a therapist.
Yeah. No
I
one
said, you,
licensed you, baby.
I said, you are a friend. I said,
Yeah.
so here's what I told him and here's what I would offer to folk listening to our conversation.
Yes.
It is one thing to know that you're a strong swimmer, even if you are self-taught, right? Part of the way that we learn how to swim growing up in the 70s is somebody pushed our ass in the deep end of the pool,
Look,
or we did a lot of swimming in places that were not safe.
that's right.
And
You're like, thank God we survived.
oh my gosh, Gen Xers, I don't even know how we're here half the time because we were not doing the things, but we learned how
That's
to
right.
swim. But me being a strong swimmer, or Taj being a strong swimmer, or Che being a strong swimmer, or Adrian, you being a strong swimmer,
Yeah.
doesn't always make you a lifeguard.
That's right.
And so I
I'm
had to
like,
let
if you flail at me one good time, I'm like, sorry, babe, I gotta back it up. Back it up.
listen,
Back it
listen,
up. Can't help
listen,
you. Sorry.
listen, and you need to ring the alarm to alert for the person who is a lifeguard.
That's
So
right.
he had a situation with a friend who was having some ideations after breaking up
Mm-hmm.
with someone, or the person broke up with them. He was
Mm-hmm.
very concerned for their well-being. And he said, I don't know what to do to help them. And I said, you are a strong swimmer, beloved. I watch you swim. I watch how much you love the water. I love how you play in the water, how you frolic in the water, but
Mm-hmm.
you are not trained to be a lifeguard. And it's a possibility that if you jump in the water with your friend, both of you will drown.
That's right.
So what we need to do is to alert our parents, their parents,
Yeah.
people that they trust, and people who have a skill set around being a lifeguard for this particular situation, because this is outside of your skill set. It is
You
outside of
know,
your skill set.
this is ringing, this is like resounding medicine for me right now
Mm.
that I've been, I think, trying, I'm recovering from this, but I've been trying to keep a couple of heads above water,
Mm-hmm.
right, for some time. And yeah, there's a, I'm gently letting the medicine in, right? But I'm like, I need my whistle. And
Yeah.
just be like, whoop, whoop. And the thing that's so hard, right,
Mm-hmm.
is when you're Taj's age and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, you need to call the parents. There's someone
Mm-hmm.
else. Ultimately, there's an adult that needs to be
That
called
steps
in,
in. That
right?
steps in. It's
There's
like,
somebody that's going to step in and
I,
be the adult and hopefully catch the
yes.
situation. But then once you're amongst adults, you just have, there's a different thing that happens, right? And so for
Yeah.
me, part of my witchy work has been coming into a different relationship with mortality and being like, it's a choice to be here. It's a choice to not be here. It's a choice to do the work a certain way. It's a choice to work on yourself. It's a choice to learn to listen. All those lifeguard moves,
Mm-hmm.
you figure out like, oh, there's an agency.
Right.
If you are drowning, you have to decide you want to be saved.
Right.
And if you haven't made that decision, then it doesn't matter who comes
It
and
doesn't.
swims towards you, right? And so I think that that's the move for me is I've had to be like, I have to get back on the shore and actually let myself dry out a little
Mm-hmm.
and get some sun on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is the way. The shore is this way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as much as I have right now,
Mm-hmm.
to offer. And the idea sometimes, like that's I think where the spells come from,
Yeah.
is sometimes I'm like, the only thing I can offer you is a pointing in the right direction,
That's right.
right? And I only know it's right because of the faith that comes from listening to nature, because nature doesn't lie to me,
That's right.
right? So I was like, no, girl, that yeah, that way.
That
No,
way.
not this, but this.
That's
Hmm.
why being witchy is also in alignment with cartography, right? Because
Absolutely.
you've walked the beaten path.
Absolutely.
You know the ins and outs of these places. And so when you encounter someone who feels a little disoriented, they feel
Hmm.
like they're off their mark, they feel like they don't know which way to go, you can say, I'm going to suggest, because they also have agency and free will, but I'm going to suggest, tell me where you're trying to go again.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to suggest you go this way. But
Yeah. And you'll see, you'll
you'll
figure it out.
you'll get to figure that out. And if I actually have the ability to journey with some folk, which is part of the work I think I'm doing with the Black Girls Guide, is that we're journeying with people who feel like they're in a crooked room, like somebody like shoved them in a crooked room with the lights out and shut the door, and people are like bumping into each other and they're kind of off kilter. And then we walk in, we turn the light on and be like, check it, stand up. And
Yeah.
folk are
Just
like,
stand
wait,
up.
what? Just stand up. You mean all this time I gotta just turn that light on and say, yup. It's a
Yeah.
setup. It's a
It's
setup.
a whole setup
It's
and
a
you
whole
didn't even
setup.
know.
So I think the thing that I would offer to someone who is trying to be more intentional with their witchy ways and with
Yeah.
their witchy birthright.
Pardon me.
Oh, that's good. Look at that's coming out. Oh, I feel like I want to hug you and be like,
I know, like, oh my God, you got me. Woo! Okay.
that felt good, didn't it?
It sure did. It sure did. I'm like, get me free, honey.
Come on, honey. Like when people are coming into that moment to be like,
Yeah.
slow down,
Yes.
get your bearings. Where are you going? Do you have provisions?
Mm.
Who's going with you?
Mm-hmm.
How do you rest? How do you learn?
Yeah.
How do you not extract but engage in spiritual reciprocity?
I
Because
love that.
we can get so excited. We go, look at those beautiful flowers. Snatch! Let me snatch them up off the ground.
That's right.
As
That's
opposed
right.
to, let me bear witness to these beautiful flowers. Let me go
Yeah.
talk to these beautiful flowers. can I take you home with me? And thank you for
Yes.
allowing your beauty to come into my home and bless my children and my cat and my friends. You
Yeah.
just become more in tune and in rhythm with that separation from extraction because we have
Yes.
been swimming in and ingesting so much poison
Yes.
in this culture. And it,
Period.
it will have you believe that, you know, you could do anything you want as an individual, has no consequences. And
Mm.
that's not true.
Right. And there's a way, yeah, I think now it's like just what is the way to be in relationship with this without causing harm? I have a
Mhm.
friend who takes a Friday morning walk and she takes pictures of all the flowers she sees and sends them to us. And
Mm.
that's how we get our bouquet, you
Mm.
know? And it's like nothing was harmed in the process,
Nothing was
right?
harmed in the process.
Um, Omi, I love you so much. You know, I really was going to start out this call by saying I just feel a little lost and I hope to feel a little bit more found by the end. And of course, that's what happened. So thank you for all the times you have listened to your guides and the invitations and the whispers and the permission. And thank you for what you bring to the community here in Durham and what you bring to Black liberation, what you bring to all of us who are experiencing or heading towards or surviving on the other side of menopause. Thank you for the impact of your life. It's a big one. And there's so much gratitude flowing
Oh,
towards you. I'm going to read a poem from Fables and Spells
okay.
that feels like the right one for the work we did today. It's
Mm.
called Not Busy Focused, Not Busy Full.
Mhm.
And this is my practice. I'm trying to like read one at the end of each session. It's such a good, like, girl, this is uncomfortable. Do it.
I love it.
This is a poem or a reset. You keep telling me, you know, I'm so busy, but, and then you ask me for something. And I want you to know I'm not busy. No, with all these boundaries, I have space to write, to take care of my body, to hold my loves tightly in my many, many hands so we can somehow make it through the rest of our lives. I'm so focused on the imaginary world, which is trying to whisper to me how to write a story that unlocks a heart, to write a spell that makes us bored with punishment and immune to capitalism. I'm so full of ancestors and characters, and I can't tell which is who, but they are a chorus, telling me humans are not the protagonist, and nothing I can say is more brilliant than a stand of trees, or a mycelial warning, or a newborn's first shuddering dance, or the grace of the blue heron in lustful prance across the pond, or the continuous sky flood always somewhere storming. And when the clouds are full with pending storm, they are quiet. So I'm studying that quiet so I can hold that storm. And when the riverbanks flood, the soil forgets it is earth and goes flying through the water and finds a new purpose in the deep, or maybe even the vast ocean. Isn't every stream a bodhisattva? Didn't Lao Tzu know it is humble to become the vastness beneath? I was running so fast and trying so hard, but what I forgot was the wonder. Now my body aches to remember when I was busy, when I was so capitalist in my anti capitalism, that is to say, so productive in my revolutionary performance. But now I'm not busy. I am breathing. I am moving at the pace my body allows, ever forward, mentored by a tortoise. I am balancing my vibrant intentions with my bemused body, bones of betrayal bruised by the busy I once thought was my worth. Now I know my body is the sliver of earth I've been given. I'm healing from the extraction I thought gave me value, from the toxins I thought of as solace. The freedom I can experience is from the traumatic past and the dystopic future, into the miraculous now, in which I can still find moments of respite, moments to water the garden of my home, to skim the news, stopping only to witness and feel the heartache and longing. The beauty of being so connected is that my boundless love has a field without horizon. My heart can gallop on, loving all the people, experiencing and shaping humanity without end. I hope to never be busy again. I owe this quiet breath to my grandmother. I am creating at an astounding rate, and some of it I even write down. Some moments I get so still. I can sense how it is all connected, and that the tissue is love, And I know my love could never be wasted or too small a contribution. I say yes when love leads. I say yes when there's enough time to do it well. And sometimes even then, I'm not there because life showed me another way to love, and it was irresistible.
That's what I needed to hear today.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. I love you so much.
I love you too. I love you too.
We do what we do. I'm hugging you so tight.
I'm hugging you back, baby. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of the witching for our liberation and our love.
This is perfect. I'm so excited we're on this path together.
Me too.
Thanks for listening to our show. We're on Twitter and Instagram at End of the World PC. We're also on Facebook at End of the World Show. You can make a sustaining donation to our show by visiting our page at patreon.com/End of the World Show. Another incredibly helpful thing you can do to help our show sustain itself is to write us a review on Apple Podcasts if you're an iPhone person. Thank you. How to Survive the End of the World is produced and edited by the incomparable Zach Rosen. We are transcribed by Liz Fertig. Music for today's show comes from Tunde Olaniran and Mother Cyborg.